Far from Deculein's dinner problem, the Bercht Tower receives news that demons have appeared at the Mountain of Darkness, turning a distant route warning into a political emergency. Inside the Bercht Assembly of Elders, the response is not panic but procedure. If demons have appeared, Bercht must answer with mages strong enough to survive the summons.
To begin, Wilhelm was originally commissioned to crush the demonic. As demons have appeared, we must also take action. Send a letter to the 12 sorcerers.
That order carries one purpose: answer Bercht's summons before the demonic crisis spreads beyond the mountain. The scene turns back toward Deculein, because while greater powers move in the distance, he is still caught in a dinner he never wanted to attend. At the auction house, Deculein finishes sorting the items he bought for survival rather than vanity.
I can equip Yulfrin's ring for mana recovery, and the ancient Rhine necklace can store mana. However, there is still one problem.
The Snowflake Stone is the item he wants most, because it can become the foundation for something far more useful than a trophy. Deculein leaves the auction with his coat pulled tight and the stone already fixed in his plan.
I cannot expect to use the Aridine stone right away, but I would rather not budge no matter how much I use telekinesis.
The stone is usually managed with metal reagents and careful refinement, but Deculein chooses the direct route his trait makes possible.
Could this mean forming an understanding of the sword itself?
He studies the stone in silence, treating it less like a gem and more like a locked instruction manual. Snowflake Stone has no single fixed value. Its price depends on the artifact it becomes, and a famous sword would be a miracle-grade result. The process of turning that possibility into reality is called forming an understanding, and Deculein tests whether comprehension can force the path open.
If I can understand the sword inside the stone, then this may be the best use of it. If that is true, then this is the direction I should pursue.
Mana gathers around his hand, and the stone answers with a pressure too sharp to be ordinary crafting. The strain hits his body at once, but Deculein refuses to pull away before the stone gives him a shape. Light erupts under his palm as his telekinesis tries to carve meaning into the Snowflake Stone. For a moment it looks less like refinement and more like a battle between his will and the stone's nature. The energy wraps around him, bright enough to swallow the room while the half-formed weapon resists being born. He presses the shape down again, careful not to waste the stone, his own mana, or the only chance he has to make this item obey him. The result is not complete. The Snowflake Stone becomes a dangerous vessel holding roughly 200 mana, far below the perfect outcome Deculein wanted.
Is this the best I can do right now? I will take at least a year at this rate.
With no better answer, he stops the experiment and prepares for the appointment Zeit forced onto him.
I have dinner arranged today.
The restaurant is elegant enough to make the meeting look harmless, but Deculein knows better than to trust the setting.
Then there is the event set before I progress this route, the death anniversary.
The calendar makes the dinner feel worse. 3 days remain before the death anniversary, and that means the Freyden meeting can touch a route Deculein cannot ignore. By sunset, the formal dinner begins at Restaurant Von Michel, with Zeit waiting in the kind of room where noble smiles can hide threats. Deculein enters as if this is only a social obligation, even though his survival instincts are already counting every possible danger.
Thank you for coming. Julie left before I did, so she should be waiting inside. Oh, you look gorgeous dressed up like that, Julie.
Julie is already there, dressed for the dinner but carrying the same cold resistance she showed at the Freyden estate. For Deculein, her beauty is not comforting. It only reminds him that this woman has every reason to hate him.
I did not notice her since I was drawn to Julie, but I did not expect to meet her here. I did not expect Josephine to be here, and I wonder whether this body once fell for her.
Of course, you do not know how much effort I put into arranging this.
The woman beside Julie smiles like a polite guest, yet her presence makes Deculein's instincts tighten before anyone says her name. Deculein recognizes Josephine only after the room settles, and that recognition makes the dinner feel far more dangerous. Her name is Josephine, and Deculein understands why the room suddenly feels more dangerous. Although she acts as a sister who came to support a marriage meeting, Josephine is not just Julie's sister. She is the kind of person Deculein must guard against above almost anyone else, because she has no guilt about sacrificing others for her goals. Josephine is tied to the shadow and strong enough that even Zeit's strength cannot be dismissed as safely above hers. That strength makes her terrifying, but her one human weakness is even more important. The only person she truly cherishes is Julie. Because of that devotion, wronging Julie means risking Josephine's wrath, and Deculein has already wronged Julie more than enough.
I do not know why Josephine has not killed me yet, but I definitely felt it when I entered this room. Josephine displayed murderous intent toward me.
The danger is not abstract. It manifests through villain's fate, turning a dinner table into another possible death route. Deculein sits with Zeit, Julie, and Josephine, while every polite gesture carries the weight of a possible execution. Villain's fate confirms what his instincts already know. The variable in this room is dangerous enough to become a fatal route.
I need to show that I am no longer attached to Julie if I want to make it past this danger.
Let us get right to business before the meal comes. Deculein, when would you like to hold the ceremony?
Head, the adults are talking.
Yes, please speak your mind.
Julie swallows her protest, but the look in her eyes makes clear that obedience does not mean agreement. Josephine watches her closely, using a sister's smile and a predator's pressure at the same time.
We will leave the betrothal as is for now. If she does not agree, I will have to dissolve our engagement. Geez, how could you speak of dissolving the engagement so carelessly?
Is it because the two of you have been distant recently?
You should think of improving your relationship, raising and strengthening trust in each other first. The family will not approve of such a thing either.
Family head, please allow the two of us to speak in private.
For the first time in the dinner, Julie aims the conversation away from family pressure and toward Deculein himself.
Very well then, let us go, Josephine.
Well then, I will take my leave. I hope you two can have a good time.
The door closes, and the dinner finally becomes the confrontation Julie wanted from the beginning.
What are you trying to do this time?
Just listen for a moment.
Julie pours the wine instead of answering immediately, as if the request is difficult even for her pride.
What do you want?
Her question lands harder than an accusation because it asks whether Deculein wants the marriage, the power behind it, or simply another way to control her.
Just what is it that you want?
Deculein answers with his eyes before his mouth, because Josephine is still close enough for one wrong line to become another death route.
She is listening.
Behind the door, the woman who cherishes Julie waits for proof that Deculein still means harm. Josephine is listening, and Deculein understands the shape of the trap at once. If he puts on an act and lets her hear it, there is no way Josephine will simply leave him alone, but that also gives him an opportunity. Josephine does not know Deculein knows about her, so the conversation can become a performance aimed past Julie and through the door.
If I can make her believe I genuinely love Julie, then I might avoid this death variable.
The plan is ugly but simple. Give Josephine the one truth she wants to hear, even if Julie herself no longer trusts him. Deculein steadies himself and turns a survival calculation into the beginning of a confession.
Then I might be able to avoid this death variable. Julie, I need to say this clearly.
I simply spoke my truth. Your truth?
As you can see, I cannot dissolve this engagement as I wish. No, rather, there is nothing we can do about this. Things have progressed too far.
And so, what dirty method will you use to torment me this time?
Before we were engaged, you kept your distance from me. You promised to continue our relationship, and you also promised to remain with me.
Julie hates pretending more than silence, and Deculein pushes her toward the breaking point with polished words. Julie came ready for threats or bargaining, so Deculein's careful, almost apology pushes her anger into confusion.
Enough of your wordplay. Are you trying to start now? Just what are you trying to start now?
I know about all of this.
He knows Deculein once ignored Julie, treated their engagement as politics, and left scars that cannot be erased by one dinner. Because of that, understanding Julie is harder for him than anyone else, but he cannot survive by pretending the damage is not real.
I will not do that anymore. I know I have been tying you down. I am aware that what I have done is wrong.
Julie has prepared herself for threats, bargaining, or another arrogant excuse, not an apology that sounds almost sincere.
But I am not alone. Your elder sister and elder brother have both gone too far as well.
If that were not the case, they would have no reason to oppose dissolving our engagement. Now is not purely the time family's reputation is at stake.
Julie goes quiet because the argument she expected is turning into something she does not know how to answer.
There is one more thing. You must leave your family in order to manifest your dream of becoming a Freyden knight.
How do you know that?
Julie, I possess neither honesty nor loyalty.
What have you been talking about?
I am someone entirely opposed to the human qualities you have. I am not suitable for you. You realize the point already. There is only a single thing I can do for you. Continue our engagement, but never marry. The bottom of my heart is not pure, but even then, the two of us would be better off this way. You may use my name to shield your honor from outside pressure. Until your preparation to manage your dream has been settled, I will continue to wait and manage our engagements.
What are you planning? Why are you saying all this now?
It is not as though I am unaffected by my own ties. However, there is one thing I would hope for. It would be for you to show me your smile once a month. That is all I want.
The request is so unlike the Deculein. Julie knows that her shock lands before her anger can protect her. For once, the woman trained to endure noble cruelty has no ready answer.
What?
Deculein watches Julie grow flustered over the request, and even he has to admit the reaction is disarming. However, watching Julie act so flustered over those words, Deculein cannot help but acknowledge it.
She looks absolutely adorable.
Even that thought catches him off guard, because something in this world has started to become his, not just Deculein's. Even the love that Deculein held for Julie has become mixed into the man now living in his body.
Anyway, I will not fall for that. I will never fall for your schemes. Haha, why are you laughing? I saw through this from the start.
These thoughts, emotions, and memories have become my own. Does that mean I am becoming the same as him? If so, then shall I watch for just a little longer?
Villain's fate announces that the death variable has been avoided through the lie, at least for now. 3 days later, Deculein leaves the dinner behind and travels toward the event he had marked on the calendar. Those 3 days pass quickly, but the death anniversary has come, and no amount of strategy can make it feel ordinary.
The death anniversary has come.
The road to the cemetery is quiet, soaked in sunset light and the weight of memories Deculein does not fully understand yet. He walks alone among the graves, each step pulling him deeper into a place that belongs to the body he inherited. Just stepping into the cemetery stirs emotion because of the atmosphere, but the feeling is more intimate than scenery. The sunset glow blends between weeds and cracked tombstones until the whole place feels like a memory trying to surface.
My heart melted into this place before my body had the chance.
This is the place that bears his memories, though the emotion rising in him does not feel like Deculein's alone. Not Deculein's, but Kim Woojin's. The memory turns toward a woman from Woojin's original life, and the boundary between past and present begins to thin. Yoo Ara's smiling face rises at the edge of the graveyard memory, leaving Deculein with a grief that belongs to the man he used to be.
I want to add an Easter egg for Deculein. I was thinking it would be nice to add a bit of hidden background. He is our game's mini-boss, so that much should be fine. That is just pointless increase of your workload, so do not bother. We are already spending the nights here, you know.
Why is this pretty important in its own way, this again?
We have to put our hearts into the game after all. There you go, spouting nonsense again, team leader. Do what you want. You do not seem to stop once an idea takes hold anyway. I think it is a pretty good idea. It will not be pointless at all.
In Woojin's memory, Deculein had already been partly changed by Ara before Woojin ever woke inside him. Back then, Ara talked excitedly whenever she had a fun idea, and Woojin never understood why the small hidden details made her so happy. The memory fragments show her secret notes and private jokes, tiny traces she left behind inside a game that later became his world.
I wonder what joke you left in as an Easter egg. What made you laugh so brightly? In order to recall her wonderful memories, I must find those traces. Do I say it is brilliant, or do I say it is cruel of her?
The grave gives him the first trace. Yoo Ara used her own name as the name carved into Deculein's bereaved fiancé.
Why did you engrave your name on this tombstone?
Deculein was modeled after Kim Woojin, and the woman Deculein mourned was named after Woojin's own Ara. The inscription thanks him, and the words are simple enough to hurt more than an explanation. He kneels and touches the stone, unable to separate the fictional grave from the real woman who once stood beside him.
One mere word can hack my whole body with emotion. It is almost as though I can hear Yoo Ara's voice whispering.
Memories of the days from the past come forth endlessly, pulling Woojin and Deculein into the same grief. He remembers ordinary affection, her coat on a winter night, her hand holding his, and the quiet way she stayed near him. The memory says she held him and told him she loved him, not as a dramatic confession but as something lived every day. He remembers the way she lifted him when he was tired, and the 7 years she spent by his side. Those are his memories of her, and they hit harder because he no longer knows whether the grief belongs to Woojin, Deculein, or both. Then the warmth breaks. Someone approaches through the cemetery, and the air around the grave turns hostile.
I have finally found you. You rotten mage. I am caught by a villain who should not have appeared this early. My personality really does create situations like this.
Deculein lifts his head and recognizes the familiar face from the danger reports.
A familiar face. Yes, that is my name. You know about me, how unexpected. How dare an arrogant and conceited mage say that? Wizard Killer Lockhark.
This man is a mini-boss villain available only for mages, and he exists to punish anyone who relies on magic alone. Lockhark became a natural enemy of mages because of one ability, magic nullification. The first attack comes fast enough to tear Deculein away from the grave before he can prepare a clean spell. In game terms, nullification is a cheat. In this world, it is worse, because Deculein has to survive it with his own body. Lockhark closes the distance, and Deculein feels the awful truth of the matchup immediately. Lockhark's attribute has almost no restrictions. If physical contact is made, magic collapses around him.
Magic cannot be used at all within his range. Magic does not work on me, you stupid mage.
Deculein is thrown across the cemetery, his normal advantage cut away by an enemy designed to ruin mages. Every exchange confirms the same problem. Lockhark can force close combat, and Deculein cannot answer with ordinary spells. He rolls with the impact and searches for one route that does not require casting inside Lockhark's range. Lockhark keeps pressing, trying to turn the graveyard into a beating before Deculein can find that route.
So he has stronger force than expected, but that is not the end of the calculation. Die.
The next blow crashes in, but Deculein survives long enough for the answer to appear. He hits the ground hard, but the impact shakes loose the one advantage Lockhark cannot nullify by touching him.
It is meaningless to me. You wretch.
The graveyard burns with sunset and killing intent, while Deculein's mind shifts from fear to calculation. The fight has moved from grief to survival, and Deculein refuses to let a mini-boss end him beside Ara's grave. An intense rage directed at mages, multiplied by nullification, makes Lockhark powerful, but not invincible. Deculein's own progress matters. His efficiency at mana manipulation has increased, and that changes how he can fight.
It looks like I will have to completely readjust to this, but I have become able to unleash a greater amount of force using the same amount of mana as before.
That improvement is enough to widen the distance between his old limits and what his telekinesis can now do.
It looks like this applies to a larger range than I expected. Well then, how about I continue my routine?
The Snowflake Stone and his mana answer from outside Lockhark's immediate reach, turning the cemetery itself into a weapon line.
What happened?
The result is only a slight exaggeration, but it raises the quality of Deculein's alchemical logic and proves his counter can work. Lockhark is knocked back, and the fight finally stops being one-sided. Villain's fate recognizes the new path. Deculein has escaped immediate death by using a method Lockhark's nullification cannot fully shut down.
I only get improvements in mana quality. It also applies to attributes. I should have been able to avoid it after putting just 1 point in, but because of this stone, I obtained strength. It was more than enough to progress. I should have been able to evade. You accused mages of falsehoods against God. Illusion, deceit, and the magic tower are all of you mages' mistakes. You mages cannot do anything without magic.
Lockhark's hatred is intense enough to be considered a cheat of its own, a rage directed at all mages and at Deculein in particular. Yet the expression on Deculein's face is not panic, it is apathy, and that unsettles the man trying to terrify him.
Lochark, you are of the Red Famine.
The name lands harder than any spell because it exposes a truth Lochark never expected Deculein to know.
You know that. How do you know?
Deculein's knowledge cuts deeper than a spell, and Lockhark's confidence cracks as leaves spin through the cemetery between them. The Red Famine is not just a name, it points to the Bloodshroud race, born covered in red and wrapped in a crimson aura from birth. Their bloodline is known as one descended from the demons of ages past, which is enough for humans to fear them before they speak. They live throughout the continent while hiding their identities, treated as beings opposite to mages and hunted by the same civilization that fears demons. Like the demonic, they can be gifted or dangerous, but most ordinary Bloodshroud are still people trying to survive under suspicion. That prejudice is also one of the main plot lines of the original game's story, and Deculein knows exactly which nerve to touch. Lockhark kneels below him, rage and humiliation mixing with the shock that Deculein knows his hidden origin.
That is why the Bloodshroud race has their lives endangered simply because of their ancestry. Silence. Could you have lived enduring something as unjust as this very destiny, human? Lochark, I understand you. The ages of oppression and repression you have experienced are truly a shame. But still, if you kill an innocent mage, you would be a monster just like them. Quiet. What do you know? Enough with the nonsense and just kill me. I know, since the Bloodshroud race is also innocent. What did a mere mage just say? I am Deculein of Deculein. That is the family line of honorable nobles who have not lost their dignity. Are you trying to act pretentious before you kill me? There was only one time I lost dignity.
The Deculein bloodline hunted demons since ancient days, but Deculein uses that history to draw a hard moral line. That restraint matters. Deculein is not proving innocence with mercy. He is proving that Lochark is not a demon to be slaughtered on sight.
This is like an instinct that cannot be overcome. Lochark, did I lose my dignity and composure in front of you? Or did I waver at your provocations? Did I go berserk as if seizing? You are human.
Lochark freezes, because the sentence does not excuse him, but it refuses to reduce him to the monster he expected Deculein to see.
This is a true noble's dignity. You can trust me. Over there, hurry.
The officers rush in and strike Lochark down before he can choose death on his own terms.
Then stay still and let yourself be arrested.
I am Inspector Royal. Your kick just then was incredible. This murderer should be kicked some more. It is fine, leave him be.
Magic gathers around Deculein's hand, and the inspector mistakes his restraint for another display of power. The blue light is not another punishment. It is restraint, shaped carefully enough to hold Lochark alive. The restraint holds. Lochark is captured rather than killed, which matters because Deculein still needs information more than vengeance.
The magic can be triggered whenever. This man must have a magic array. Magic weapon and disruption arrest was the safest way to keep him restrained. What? Really? No wonder he was so good at becoming what he wanted. Explain why the magically engineered radar did not work.
But you were here quite early. Were you patrolling?
We came after receiving a report. It was not you who made it, Professor. It was not me. There must have been someone else who shared the condition.
Then I will be off. Good work. I am a little shocked that someone arrived before me, but in the first place, the route should proceed normally.
He walks away under the moon, aware that someone unseen intervened in a route he thought he understood.
I did not want to meet someone.
The night ends without that answer, and the next day carries Deculein into a new problem connected to Bercht's summons. The next day, the destination is Deculein Estate's training room where Deculein's body is being prepared for the journey ahead. Meeting a caller in Bercht for the first time in 15 years means the main quest is no longer distant theory.
You came yourself just to give me this parchment. Is that not the role of the resident head, to take care of their family?
The parchment confirms the main quest, Bercht's call. The news reports an incident near the Mountain of Darkness, and Bercht wants to bring mages together to discuss it.
In a week. With one guard that will make it 2.
You need a guard. Then should I ask Jeff?
Even more so with a guy like Jeff. Who knows, there might be someone plotting to murder you. You cannot just go without a guard. I know my stuff.
The journey to Bercht is one where life cannot be guaranteed, and even Alan's nervous insistence makes sense under that warning. Deculein says nothing, which only makes Alan defend the arrangement harder.
Are you worried about me? I am only going on the same train because of the promotion arrangement and your admission, so there is nothing to do with me. In any case,
Leave the guard issue to me. I will commission it to an appropriate place.
The appropriate place becomes the order of Freyden's post, where a simple commission immediately turns into a public beating. One officer is punished in front of the others, and the atmosphere is nothing like a polite hiring desk.
Maintain focus.
A dark-haired captain stands over the scene, silent enough to make the punished man more afraid than the blow itself.
what should I do? What do you mean?
The captain's silence makes it clear that excuses will not help him.
At least make some noise when you move, Veron. A commission has come in for your order. It is odd, but there is something bothering me a little, so I do not know whether to accept it or not.
Do not be worried on your own and share your concerns with the captain, vice captain. It is difficult to even bring it up to her in the first place.
The commission is to guard Deculein. To be exact, it is to guard the entire train, but it is obvious. They knew that if it was to guard just them, we would not accept it, so they watered it down. That commission, accept it.
A mission to guard a train using an entire train as the excuse from that man, and you would accept that? But the captain and Deculein are involved. No.
Our captain is not someone who would ever insert her personal emotions into a mission, right?
Then I will go and mention it to the captain.
The guard assignment has been accepted, but the name Deculein leaves a shadow over the post before the journey to Bercht even begins.